It was an early autumn weekend when my college friend Ah Hao and I decided to go camping. We both love nature, especially the feeling of being far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. This time, we chose a secluded lake, almost completely isolated from human activity. We had checked the weather forecast beforehand and made sure there would be no heavy rain before setting off. We arrived at the lakeside in the afternoon, around 3 p.m. The autumn temperature was just perfect, not too hot, not too cold. The sunlight shimmered across the surface of the lake, creating a peaceful, sparkling scene. There was no one around us, adding to the tranquility of the moment. We found a flat, grassy area near the lake, perfect for some tents, fires, and portable stoves. I had to charge of making a fire and cooking, while I handled each of the tents, since we were only staying for 1 night. It didn't take long to get everything ready. For dinner, Ah Hao made his signature curry, paired with a few cans of beer. The sun gradually set over the lake, the sky turning orange and red as it dipped below the horizon. We sat by the lake, enjoying the peaceful sunset, reminiscing about our college days. By the time the stars appeared and the sky grew dark, we started cleaning up and preparing to sleep. Just as we extinguished the campfire and were about to crawl into our tents, we suddenly heard faint footsteps from across the lake. The area on this side was supposed to be deserted. We had walked around the lake earlier in the afternoon and saw no signs of other campsites. I froze for a moment and asked Ah Hao, "Did you hear that?" He nodded. Probably just an animal. It's normal to hear things in the wild at night. Although I wasn't fully convinced, Ah Hao's calm response reassured me somewhat. We finished cleaning up and got into our tents. The lakeside at night was incredibly quiet. Apart from the occasional rustle of leaves and the gentle sound of water lapping the shore, this silence, which should have been comforting, only made me feel uneasy. As I lay in my sleeping bag, I heard the footsteps again. This time, they were much closer, seemingly coming from our side of the lake. The steps were slow and deliberate. The sound of something heavy, crunching through leaves and twigs. I held my breath, my heart racing. "Ah, Hao! Wake up," I whispered, nudging him. He groggily responded, "What's up? I think someone's outside." He immediately sat up, wide awake. We exchanged a close look, and both reached for our flashlights and knives. Without making a sound, we carefully unzipped the tent and peeked out, shining the flashlight into the darkness. At first we saw nothing, just the dense trees and the stillness of the night. But then, the footsteps returned, this time even closer. Suddenly, the flashlight beam caught the silhouette of a figure. I felt a shiver run down my spine. Standing not far from our tent was a person. They were facing the lake, their back turned to us. Ah Hao muttered under his breath, "This is impossible. There was no one here earlier." I could feel every muscle in my body tensing up, the flashlight trembling in my hand. I whispered, "What do we do?" Hao didn't respond immediately, his expression growing more serious. We didn't dare speak, our eyes fixed on the figure. The person remained still, almost as if they were mesmerized by the lake. Then, in the creepiest moment of all, the figure slowly turned around. The movement was deliberate, almost mechanical. As the flashlight illuminated their face, I realized they were wearing a large medical mask, covering most of their features. Only their eyes were visible, blank, emotionless eyes staring directly at us. The figure didn't say a word. After what felt like an eternity, they turned back toward the lake and slowly disappeared into the night, vanishing into the shadows. Neither of us moved. We were frozen, too afraid to make a sound until we were sure the figure was gone. Ah Hao finally whispered, "Something's not right. We need to leave." But it was already past 1 a.m., and the night was pitch black. Moving in the dark wasn't safe, so we reluctantly decided to stay in the tent, keeping our knives and flashlights close. Ah Hao stayed on high alert, while I kept staring at the tent opening, too scared to close my eyes. All through the night, I could hear faint shuffling sounds by the lakeshore, as though someone, or something,